If your front squat is not very good, and it's probably not, I'm going to give you guys a few things that you can do to make it better. And then when you're doing them at the gym, 100% girls are going to be watching and think you're really cool and want to date you. So make sure your front squat is good or girls won't like you. With that being said, one of the things that people have trouble with their front squat is getting into a good front rack position, and there's a few reasons for that. One of them is tightness in the triceps. So if you're in this position here and you're trying to lift your elbow up, your tricep tightness can limit that or your capability to do that. So what you want to do, very simply, stretch out your tricep. And here's a really good way you guys can do that with a band. So what I like to do, I get a medium thickness band. You can of course start with a smaller band based on how tight your triceps are or how poor your mobility is. But for me, I like to use the medium one. So what I do is I stand on that band with one foot. I have a palms up hand position. From here, I lift my leg up. I'm gonna put my elbow up to the ceiling. I'm gonna stand back down, okay? Once I've done that, I instantly feel a really big stretch right through my tricep all the way down this lateral line of my body too. What I wanna make sure I'm doing is not overextending my back, my rib cage stays down, and I'm driving my elbow up to the ceiling, okay? Driving it up. So for me, I feel it really, really intensely through my tricep. Other people feel it down even through the lat and lower down in their body here. But what you want to do is in the back, keep your hand as if it's in a front squat, front rack position. So I'm not rotated down, I'm rotated up. Okay, so what I do, I set a timer for 1 minute, and then I'll constantly be playing with that, trying to push back a little bit further, making sure my rib cage is down. So I'm getting that full stretch right through here. So I'll do 1 minute each side before I do front squats. And that's something that's really helped my front rack, is just mobilizing that position right there. So you guys can do that, like I said, before you train or after you train. I would suggest before and after if you have a big problem with your front rack. And that's something that should really help you out. So just remember, 1 minute each side, rib cage stays down, and play around with it a little bit. So if you guys are front squatting and your front rack position looks like this, you have 2 fingers or maybe even 1 finger on the bar, and you're having trouble getting a full grip front squat, this is gonna be something that's really gonna help you. So I already showed you what the tricep opener looked like. Another thing people have a lot of problems with in their front rack is tightness in their wrist. So one drill you can do that's really, really effective before you do a front squat is this one right here. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to kneel down on the ground. I'm gonna spread my fingers really wide, like so, and I'm gonna push the heel of my palm into the ground. So for some people, this is gonna be enough. This is gonna be a really good stretch. You can kind of lean back a little bit and get a good stretch through your wrist. If you want to get a little bit more of a stretch, what I like to do is I wrap my hand around my wrist and then I immediately rotate, or I'm just rotating in towards my body. So I'm gonna do that 3 or 4 times here. I'll move up a couple inches, rotating in like so, 3 or 4 times, up a little bit higher, 3 or 4 times, like so. And that's really gonna wind up the tissue in your forearm and your wrist and give it a really good stretch. I just shake it out a little bit, then I'm gonna do the other side. Same thing, fingers spread, heel of my palm down on the ground. I'm grabbing around my wrist and then rotating 3 or 4 times. And I'm gonna do that in 3 or 4 positions, heading up my arm, okay? So really making sure I'm getting a good rotation in there. And you guys are gonna feel a huge stretch through your forearms. And then honestly, almost instantly, that's gonna be something that's gonna help you a lot with achieving your front rack position. So I have one more drill for you guys that I'm gonna show you in 1 second. So I've just shown you guys 2 mobility drills you can do to optimize your front rack position, as Tim Ferriss would say. But what I also want to do is show you guys a core stability exercise that you can do that's really going to help with your front squat. If you have front squatted before, you've probably noticed that there's a huge demand on your midline in order to maintain this position really upright the whole way through your front squat. That isn't really there with most other exercises. So when you back squat, you can get away with not using your core with the front squat as that load gets heavier and heavier. For most people, they end up coming down and then dumping it forward, not because their legs give out, but because their midline or their core gives out, okay? So one drill that's really helped me, and I've noticed it with people I've worked with as well that works amazingly, is the dead bug drill. So there's a number of different ways you can do this. And I'm just going to show you the two most basic ways you can do it. So basically the concept behind the dead bug drill is you are working on stabilizing your core while you manipulate your hip joint. So your legs are going to be moving while you maintain core stability, which when you're front squatting is exactly what's going on. Your core is bracing and your legs are moving. So for the most part, all the core stability drills we do, like plank, side plank, you're very stationary. With this one, you're gonna have to be moving your limbs around a solid core, and that's what's really gonna translate to your front squat. So what I like to do, I just lie on my back, okay? My hands are straight up to the ceiling. My lower back is pressed into the ground, so I don't have a huge arch in my lower back. I shouldn't be able to fit my hand back here, so I press that into the ground, and then I lift my knees up until they're at a 90-degree angle. So 90-degree angle at the hip, 90-degree angle at the knee. Okay, so once I'm here, all I'm doing, taking a breath in, bracing, I'm lowering down, touching my heels, and coming back up. Okay, so you notice I'm not bending my knees, so I'm not going like this, and I'm not reaching out like so. I'm keeping them almost in a squat position the whole time. So hands up, knees bent, I'm lowering down, tapping, and coming back up. All right, very, very simple. I would do that for a set of 10, very slow. I'm not resting at the bottom, I'm just touching and coming back up. Once you've done that 10 times, you can challenge yourself a little bit more and do one leg at a time, very slow, in control, making sure your lower back stays on the ground and you're braced right here, okay? So once again, you don't want to let your knees stretch out. You're keeping them in that squatting position. You're going to do 10 reps, double leg, 5 reps with each leg by itself, okay? And as soon as you're done that, it's really great actually to test your front squat before doing that. Do this dead bug drill and then do your front squat again and see if there's a difference. I almost guarantee that there will be a drill. I would not lie to you because I love you. And, and this is a really awesome drill to help you guys with your front squat. So next time you train, do a couple warm-up sets with your front squat, try this out, and then go back to doing your front squat, and I guarantee you, money back guarantee, it's gonna be 100 times better. So that's all I'm gonna give you guys for the front squat for now. Please try out all these drills, be consistent with them, and continue to be a cool person. Goodbye.